I want to say a hot minute since I've been on my socials and my YouTube and doing any chit-chatting with you guys. I've been a little off grid for a little bit, but I promise you it's been worth it. There's been quite a bit of change on the rise, and there is most definitely lots more for me to talk about. We have some new things that are exciting. We have the drum medicine that's coming up. For those of you that have been paying attention, I've been posting a lot of videos about the drum making, the meditation class, ceremonies. Most especially excited about the meditation class and the ceremony. My first ceremony will be this Thursday, and I have the meditation class starting on the 16th. So yeah, I'm just going to keep talking about that stuff until somebody pops on here with a question, because I do have my cards ready for you. So on that note, let's get into it. So the website will be changed, so there will be some interesting differences with what you see on my website now versus what used to be there before. The focus is going to shift quite a bit into training, drum making, ceremonies, and retreats. So you'll see some clickable links on there for January 16th meditation class. It's a 12-week comprehensive course where we get to really break it down into pieces that you can utilize and skill sets that you can reproduce and actually get something out of your meditation. So terms, content, goals, chakras, mantras, ohms, mudras, tools, dynamic versus static, science, workbooks that if you print them out and keep them will make for a beautiful reference book. I'm really excited about that, most especially because this is my opportunity to record the class so that it can be a self-learning experience, so you can just get the class and learn it at your own pace. Highly recommended that you keep it to the 12 weeks and power through it all, though, because it's pretty valuable to get a discipline and a habit, right? How many 21 days to a habit? So yeah, the meditation class is coming up. I have a drum making workshop in February that's coming up. That one's a little bit further out because it takes a little bit of time for us to order the medicine and the drum hide that you choose to use. There's also my first ceremony on January 11th. That's going to be pretty fun. That will be at Crown Cut Studios. So if you're interested in that, hit me up. Let's see what else. Let's see, meditation class, drum making, and ceremonies. Yeah, that's all the new stuff. So, at any rate, I just wanted to come on here and chat with you for a little bit. It's New Year, New You. So we have the tarot cards here if you want to ask some questions, and we will get into it. So in the meantime, I'm going to grab my drum here. I'd like to know how your New Year's going and what your goals are for this beginning of this year, and what you're thinking about as the new year comes rolling in. What's the energy like for you? I got to tell you the honest truth. There has been some energy coming through my clients and stuff. Relationships are pretty sticky right now. People are, and I don't mean that things are rough, okay? I'm just going to say that the beauty and depth at which I'm noticing people are getting into when it comes to their relationships is just phenomenal. What I've noticed is depth. I've noticed quite a bit of depth. And here's what also is true. People want a little bit more real. So nobody's playing small anymore. Everybody's getting right down to the nitty-gritty, speaking to what they want, showing up the way they see themselves showing up and how they want to. And hi. And the other thing I'd like to talk about is the melancholy that's going on. I'm even getting some commentary from some other practitioners that are saying like, whoa, this is pretty heavy. The collective is really struggling to keep their head above water emotionally. So Lighthouse here, reach out if you feel as if you're having a hard time regulating. I heard that from a client recently. She said, I'm having a really hard time emotionally regulating right now. I'm like, oh, I love that, because it articulates so very much about Where our mental state is, if you're saying like I'm having a hard time regulating, it's not like focusing on the negative or getting so hardcore into the story and what's going on. It can just be like, I need a minute. Um, you know, also picking up that there's like this high influx of vibrational light that's coming through. And I would say ascension symptoms are really coming in hot and heavy. You know, if you take a look at the Schumann resonance that's going on, we've been in the white almost every day. It just barely backed off yesterday, but I kind of feel like it's like a heartbeat, like we're taking our foot off the gas for a minute. So if you follow the Schumann resonance, you'll see that the influx, the megahertz that we've been dealing with, the planetary ascension is upon us, and we have this energy that's coming in, and our bodies are learning to adjust. We don't ever get to go backward. So there's that. So yeah, I have a grid that's going since solstice, with a candle that I've lit since the solstice. Mostly it started out as the Viking thing, right? Where I was like, they partied for 12 days starting on the solstice going all the way until the new year. And I got to, I'm glad I intuitively did it, because here's what's true. Right after I set the grid and lit the candle, I started getting these complaints about how heavy it's been. I'm going to say the melancholy, because your girl here doesn't like to use the word depression. Hi, darling. And, you know, depression is a whole paradigm of structure. And it is my world according to karma. It is my belief that depression is becoming like, you know, this, you know, Christmas spirit. It's like Christmas has a spirit, and I feel like depression has become this large subject. Not that it's not real or anything, but I just kind of feel like, not that it's like accepted to talk about, etc., but I just feel like it's gotten really big and heavier. And you know, I think that as an NLP practitioner, I like to look at it like this. When you say an I am, you are claiming something. And when you claim depression, it's this huge, you know, I need medication and it's out of my hands and it's just a condition. I feel that when you replace the word depression with the melancholy, you're speaking to the mood. And when something is a mood, a couple of equations go on in our brain, right? First of all, that moods can change, moods can shift. I have control over it, and this too shall pass. Just a suggestion. So at any rate, right after I had set the grid on solstice and lit the candle, I started getting the complaints, I call from the collective, from my clients, and what I'm reading and seeing, that people are having a hard time emotionally regulating, and they're saying like, this season is heavy, this season is hard. You know, because when we do go into the winter months, it can get kind of heavy. And this is where we learn to lean on our practices. This is where we dive into meditation a little bit more. This is why we get more social when we can. This is where we maintain our impeccable self-care so we don't get into the slump, you know. And the winter is a good time for rest, so try not to put too much on your plate when you're feeling that way. But I have a grid, so if you feel like your emotions need a washing machine, let me show you the candle. I do have a candle. I'm not going to show you the grid so we can maintain the purity, but we have a red candle, Magdalene energy, for us to keep the light in the darkness. And as it's heavy, you got a lighthouse here. So there's a lot that's going on energetically right now. Ascension symptoms, you know, the appetite, need for sleep, the headaches, the pressure that you're ringing of the ears. So if you have a lot of that's going on, all I can say is, in particular, when I have ascension symptoms, or when the vibes are changing and I'm getting transmissions or downloads, usually I want to sleep, and then, or I want to eat. I'll find that I'm really snacky, off and on cranky, or feeling edgy or vibrational, like I'm a little bit of anxiety, whatnot. And we just cleared Mercury retrograde, so there's that. So for those of you that are wondering, like, when will this ever end, their like foot is off the gas a little bit, and we're starting to shift there. What do we want to talk about today? How do we want to utilize this time that we have together? Clearing something, maybe? I want you to consider, like, for a minute while you have me, aside from like doing a reading for you, and let's talk about what's going on for you. Let's talk about where your emotions sit, and what quality, what elements, what theme is going on for you. I'm super curious what is, you know, what we're all going through, and if there's something we can do together to kind of shift it, because I feel as if it's important to know that you're not alone. Like when I have clients that call and just like, whoa, this is heavy. And I'm like, would it help to know that this seems to be thematic? Relationships seem to be a theme right now. And I'm not talking about breakups. I'm talking about like not necessarily heavy conversations, but having the real ones, having the conversations that are meaningful. Mallory is saying tired, 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 but ready for more play. I'm going to call that cabin fever. Where we want to rest, but at the same time, we have things that we want to do and we want to play. Esther's saying, feel at total rebirth and unclear about it. I will have to agree with that. Holly just got back from some travel, checking out some retreat space, and I got to have a little debrief with her when she got home. And I had mentioned someone was reaching out to her and asked me, what did I think? And I said, I don't think for Holly. One never knows where my fairy will sit, where she will be. And she said, you're right. And she said, because sometimes I don't even know. She goes, especially right now. I will say, Esther, speaking to that though, that there is something very purgative about this energy right now. I want to say, I'm curious with you, Esther, where this sits, but maybe 2 days ago, 3, I ended up doing an energetic rewrite where I was talking about like a resurrection moment where I felt like I was choosing into something. Anybody else feel that? Where it's like suddenly this is like shit's getting real. So I had gone through and reset the altars in the house. I did an aura bath. I sat with Hape and meditation, and I was like, okay, and I just went to heart, right? Because it's like, stay there and you can't lose. However, I do feel that rebirth energy. And it was maybe like 2 days ago where I kind of felt like inspired to be like, recommit, so to speak. Not necessarily having to do with the new year, but, and my birthday's coming up in 2 days, so. I'm the old lady. Mallory's saying a huge moment of choosing to stay put or choosing to transmute. Yeah, it's like, and I think that our unhealed selves are speaking right now. And, I'm trying to think of the phrase that someone said to me about the unhealed selves when we're triggered, right? What's the difference between a trigger and an activation? It's like, when we're activated by something and we begin to receive transmissions for something new, our unhealed selves begin to speak to us, right? And then we have a moment of choosing if we are going to listen to that old voice or allowing us to accept the new vibrational experience. Mary Beth is saying, sitting in my bliss of just grateful for my home and kids, and of course my wonderful support and tribe. I want to say that gratitude has been a huge theme for me as well. Like that back of the throat, behind the eyes tears, where it's just like I will walk through, especially when it comes to the drum for me. I had a journey of, I don't want to say sacrifice or martyrdom, but I feel like I had laid everything on the altar and really shed a lot of myself before this had happened for me, because there were a lot of delays and sickness for me. And when I finally got there, like if you guys saw my story the other day where I was crying because I had gotten my website done and I kept thinking there was work yet to do, and all I had to do was promote, or all I had to do was post my events. And then I just started to cry because I was like, I'm so grateful I got here. I've been working toward this for a year now, and like the humility and the gratitude that I have, there is a lot of that too. And Marcy's saying, I feel rebirth is the perfect word for how everything feels right now. You're right, because it's like, what is a birth but push and pull, right? Hi, Vanessa. I love you so much. You have no idea. Her popping in here right now, like, I just want to speak to that. Vanessa, you have watched me in this transformation struggle to find this missing link. And it's like, I feel like the athlete that is about to be signed on to, thank you for that. I will see if I can fix it. An NFL team, or, that I'm about to get the movie part. I just really, they say in coaching that you never truly arrive. But I feel like I have, and I am absolutely 100% on my shit. I have like confidence of like biblical proportions and understanding of like my mastery. Like I know myself now more than I've ever in my life, and it is It is walking tall. And Vanessa says, I saw you the whole time. Girl, I did it. I made it. I feel like I'm right there. And don't take your eyes off me, guys. This is about to be insane 2024. I mean it. And, those of you that have been watching me, you've seen all of this differences that I've done. I don't even look like the same human being. But it's also, I want to suggest that it's alignment, right? Hi, the Shay. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. This is a little bit of me reintegrating back into social media presence because I have so much to say. I mean, it's all like going together and making sense now, and it's cohesive and congruent, and I'm super excited about that part. But as we go through this rebirth process, back to what Marcy was saying, is that what is birth like? Birth is fits and starts. Groaning, screaming, resistance, stretching, pulling, pain, and maybe a little noise and crying and tears, and then a break, and then roar all over again, and then a break. Let me see if I can fix this. Okay, I'm waiting on you, Shay, and you're going to tell me if it's improved. Okay, how's that? Is that any better? Is that improved at all? Nervous? I got Shay on the spot. I'm nervous. No, it's fine. Okay, so, okay, much better. Thank you. So yeah, like I said, this is, first of all, all of you old school people that are watching me right now, come back in here like Vanessa. You know me. I am tech-tarded. You are lucky I have a website. You're lucky my phone doesn't blow up and explode and short out. I am literally a walking time bomb toward electronics. But anyways, so let's talk about that birthing process. So what happens when, someone's in labor? And I would like to suggest, driver test tomorrow. You got this. I would like to suggest that not only are we birthing a new earth, or, new earth is already here since 2012. We're just manifesting it right now. We're in co-creation. Every time I go into meditation and see the future, I see a blank slate, like white paper. Like, what do you want to create? It's not even about like what the future is going to look like. What do you want to create? It's time for us to get on our shit, right? But and I think the planet is going through these fits and starts, and there's evidence now of something I've never seen in my lifetime. I feel like I have been a stranger in a strange land my whole life. And yes, new earth, 2012, like the Mayan calendar ends and we have a new beginning, and now we're on to the 1,000 years of peace. Age of Aquarius is upon us. It's been foretold forever and ever in astrology and the Bible and any other random thing. We talk about paradise. We're in the age of Aquarius, and the planet and we're at this most critical time of all development where we are about to take leaps into unity, and there's all of this push and pull. And, as we go through these emotional phases, we're finding that birthing process, like, is really, really great. And then we got to push and struggle and push through and move through. But that is what birthing something new is like. And then eventually it just slides into that alignment where it's a little bit easier. I'm talking about, she said, wait, what happened in 2012? So I'm just talking spiritually about the commentary around the Mayan calendar saying the end of the world was in 2012. That, that's the date that the mathematics stopped for when the calendar was supposed to stop. But it's just a kind of a joke about, like, some truth to it. However, in 2012, we did the shift. So, I didn't mean to lose you there. And we're on to some better things. Age of Aquarius is something they've talked about in songs. They've talked about, yeah, it is still going on. It's still like a transition, and we're going to be in transition for a long time until we get it. But, I'd hesitated to talk about my visions, and who cares? There's people out here that talk about weirder things than I've got, especially on TikTok. Y'all gone to the underbelly of TikTok lately? I mean, I use the thing myself, but it can be strange. Just saying. Since I was very young, my teenage years, I used to have images and visions of the apocalypse, and I was a prepper, and give us a million years, but not so much like we get to co-create now, like not necessarily like paradise and we die or anything, but it's just that this, unity, humanitarianism, where we come together. Imagine Star Trek, like how we do things. But I used to have these visions of the apocalypse, and what's interesting is I could access them at any time, and I had a lot of doom and gloom in my head. And that was kind of how my spiritual gifts first started to play with me. And, you know, I had this deep and incredible craving to live off the land and unplug from society and hide and prepare for the worst that's to come. And I did a lot of that. I homeschooled my kids. I had home birth with some of my kids. I lived off the grid for a little while when I was up in Beaver, Utah, and imagined myself doing that. You know, I lost it all, those ideas, those great ideas in the divorce diet. And nowadays, I'm, you know, integrated. However, the point being that those visions have completely disappeared now, and I can only access strange and interesting visions about technology being different and our planet looking very, very different. Sometimes it's very hard for me to articulate or explain it, but our planet is about to go through some beautiful transitions, and we have some exciting things to do with it. I mean, if you look at the fact that we have AI now, I look at it like this. This is just the world according to karma. I'm not going to back it up with science or anything, but here's what's true. Our emotional and spiritual journey is often reflected in what the planet is doing, right? As within, so without, as above, so below. And we can see evidence of this in this structure. And what's true is we are very much waking up. You know, people say that, have that expression, I'm woke, or I woke up, or I had my spiritual awakening. And what's true is, when I was a child, I was an oddity. Mind you, I'm 54. I was born in 1970. And so when we, you know, you go through life and it's very, very like 1% thing. I didn't know another human being that did what I did, saw what I saw, thought the way I thought, or had the empathy. Now, I'm an empath, comes out of everybody's mouth nowadays. And every time you turn around, you can go on social media and someone will have tarot cards. Like, I was kind of shocked to look on YouTube and found out it was a thing. I was the only human being I knew that had a deck for a really long time. So, I mean, if you just look around and notice that we have in every community now spiritual movement, whether that's powerful men's retreats, deep dive into Kundalini and meditation, and there's astrology on the tip of everybody's tongue. I challenge you to ask anybody around you what's Mercury retrograde. 50-50 chance they know now, where astrology was just an horoscope in the newspaper for a really long time. So if you just take a look at it from that perspective, and you know, the global, like Matthias de Stefano, Dolores Cannon, the gurus are popping up all over the place. Like Matthias de Stefano went around the planet to heal the Kundalini of the planet. When has that ever been done, I ask you? And you know, just the fact that retreats are popular now. It's not the retreats, but this is what people are hungry for. You know, I used to say that people aren't looking for religion, they're looking for connection, and you can see it now. People want to communicate better. They want deeper, more richer relationships. People want, and this is my favorite one, 2012 was when my divorce happened, and I had my finger on the pulse of single hood and dating. And I started to, in my readings, see this shift into the hookup culture and how people were behaving, using each other like a commodity. And then it went on for quite a long time. There's a portion of me that's like, I love the revolution of independence where women get to express themselves however they choose. And then, you know, however, there's a quality to that where we are dismissing the most vital portion of sexuality itself. I'll probably get kicked off of here for saying the S word. But, you know, is that it is a healer, and it's an intimacy builder, and that it is the bonding mechanism in relationships. And when we minimize it and treat it like McDonald's, well, we lose that intimacy altogether in relationships as a whole. But as we go on from about then, I just told somebody the other day, I wasn't aware that I was looking for it, but I remember saying to myself, this has got to shift, because there's a pendulum in everything, right? Light and dark, good and bad, and then there's something will always swing to the other side. And I had said, the hookup culture can't last forever. And I promise you, most recently, and I have a pretty high percentage than most with male versus female clients. Like, my industry has a tendency to be 70-30. And I have a closer to 40-60 or almost 50-50 sometimes of male and female clients. Likely because I was a paramedic for 20 years and I have a tendency to talk pretty forward, speak. I'm pretty forward. So men like that. They're very simple. I forgot my point. Yeah. So I am noticing that men, and I'm not talking about tender. Like we say we want men that are tender and kind and not feminine, but we want them to hear us emotionally. But I'd like to suggest that women are looking for men with emotional control, emotional intelligence, that know what they want, that know themselves, and then can lead, right? However, I knew that a shift would come. And I just, for those of you that are out there dating, if you are looking for a deeper relationship, I would suggest that you speak to it. You would be surprised that that tone, that tide has turned. You know, I have men that come to me with problems in their marriage and they're like, I want to preserve my family and I want to be a good man and a good father. I have people that are coming around going, I don't want to play the hookup culture anymore. I want to get married and I want a relationship and I want depth and I don't want to rush into anything. So there's that. If there's anything that you take away from this video is like, hold the line. It's going to be Gucci. Shay's asking about the cards while I pass my driver test. Let's look. She said she's nervous. Are you a she? Am I just making things up? So tell me where you are in the world. The other question that I had asked that branched this whole subject to begin with was, what energy are you dealing with right now? Hi, Shay is a he. I'm going to be like, what up, girl? Thank you, Shay. I want to know what kind of energy you're playing, what energy you're playing with right now. Frustration, fatigue, excitement, confusion. We're kind of breaking those things together down. Okay, let's take a look. So for Shay, taking the driver's test. I can pick up the nervous energy. Why is it? So Shay, I want to know why you don't trust it. I am picking up the devil card. Was there a problem? Oh, I'm going to talk to you, Heidi. Was there a problem beforehand that you're worried or something that kept you from it beforehand? I just have to tell you that it's going to go by quicker than you expect. Either you have an appointment or there won't be as much to keep you there. It's going to move pretty quickly. You got the Chariot card that whoa! All right, right here we've got the Chariot card, so that's a car. So I'm going to throw it out there and I'm going to tell you, yes, you're going to pass that test. So we've got confusion, excitement. Okay, so confusion, I heard one of my life coaches say this once. Confusion is just telling you you're on the precipice of learning something new. If you don't know what to do. Now, mind you, there is a behavior that has to do with confusion that gets you an excuse out of making a choice. Or like, I'm confused. And then eventually, if you keep playing confused, someone will pop out and say, they'll give you an answer. So confusion sometimes is a cop-out. But here's what's true. Confusion can also be something along the lines of decision-making fatigue. And also the idea of too much information. So if you've got too much information, what's the thing that we do is we boil it down to the most important value. So if that's like, I need more time with my family or I need more money, we got to go to the value of it, find out what it is that's confusing. And sometimes what we find when we're dealing with the energy of confusion is that the confusion is just our emotions that come up, that there may be more than one. So they're multivalent and layered. And so we're confused. I could be excited and pissed at the same time. I'm mad that I have to do this thing, but then I'm excited because even though that galvanized me, you can have these two things at once, so to speak. The other thing that I would like to suggest for those of you dealing with confusion is play with the idea of maybes, no's, and yeses. Stop making your maybes, yeses. Write that down. Stop making your maybes, yeses. Because if you want a number 10 life, if you want the high quality experience where everything is really, really good. Now, mind you, we're not ever going to get away from the bad. That's going to be, a storm comes through when a storm comes through, right? Yes, you may. And here's what's true. If we say yes, like if you don't like coffee and someone says, do you want Starbucks? And you go, yes, with a question mark, you get something you don't like. If you're not sure and you're like, I'm not sure, we do this a lot mostly in relationships where we're like, well, he's a nice guy and he's nice on paper and maybe I should push it. You don't have to figure out what it is about the item or the thing that you're dealing with that's off in order for it to be a no, because if it's not a yes, we know if you're ready for some In-N-Out and you want a burger right now. We know if you're allergic to shrimp and you like, no, thank you. When you have a yes, you know a yes. So if it's not a yes and it's a maybe, that's an automatic no. Now, it takes a lot of practice to do that because we feel bad, like maybe I should. Stop shooting on yourself. I want a burger too. All right, so what's the question about your son, Alicia? Did I ramble too much, or was that, did I make sense? Because sometimes when I'm listening, I'll get some questions or impressions from some of you in the room. Nervousness is sometimes excitement. Shay, I'd recommend that you get excited about being able to have the license and thinking along the lines of what having a license will do for you, and then get excited about taking the test, thinking beyond that moment of nervousness, and take in the idea of, I'm so excited that I'll have my driver's license soon, and reframe it a little bit and see if that doesn't help you. Hello. Drive to school. There you go. You're welcome, Heidi. If you want to any more of that information or like get deeper into it, let me know. You know where to find me. Unbridled Intuitive Healer. Hi, how are you, Mary Beth? Hi, Addie. Thank you. This is why I'm like inspired to come back on here. I'm going to tell you the honest truth if you're ready to hear it. I was talking to Heidi there, and then I was talking to you after that. You know, when for those of you that are practitioners or thinking about doing videography of your own, especially you Twitch people who get on there and do your channels and stuff, here's what's true. You spend 15 minutes on the underbelly of TikTok in the middle of the night, and you see the strange and unusual Quentin Tarantino looking stuff that goes on. Ask yourself, do I have a message and can I do better? And yes, you can. So here I am to teach, talk, do readings, whatever is needed, and play, right? I was talking to Addie McLean. So yeah, don't be shy about showing up, and people love vulnerability and they like to be included. And so if you want to get in there and play, just engage. Ooh, okay. I'll talk to you in just a second. I was talking to you about nervousness, but I'll repeat it. So, Alicia Ray, she said her son got himself into some trouble Friday night. He's 19. I'm worried about him. He keeps making the same mistakes, and I told my husband we're not bailing him out this time. What's your son's first initial or first name? Let us take a look. See how this is going to be for him. Nervousness, by the way. Nervousness and excitement do feel like the same energy. Butterflies in the belly, shaking, rapid breathing, flushed skin, nervousness and excitement, sometimes fear. Fear and excitement feel the same. Hi, Kara. And so what happens is if you just translate that into reframe, call this reframe in coaching. If you reframe that into excitement, get excited about what it is you're doing. Sorry, I didn't realize we were talking about that portion. You guys might have a little delay there. But yeah, so reframe it. Okay, so Johan. Hi. I'm going to do the wave. Is there any substance abuse or substances that's going on with this son, Johan? Hi, Shelby. Oh, it's funny. I was just going to say that the devil card was popping into my head, and I shuffled and the devil card popped up for me. I wish I had the picture here, but I didn't want to focus strictly on readings this time. But I've got the devil card, so that one or two things happen when the devil card shows its face. Number one, it tells us we have habits involved. Smoke weed. Did he get a DUI or anything? I am picking up here that he's stubborn. That also the core of his issue that I'm seeing here is that there might be some depression unresolved that isn't being treated, cared for, or paid attention to. I mean, maybe it's been cared for, but he's not focusing on it or taking action on it. And maybe, just maybe, there's a little bipolar in here, but I'm seeing this where he's got this card here for feeling like he's giving up a little bit. And that just might be frustration. If he's really smart, sometimes those guys are like, I'm tired of being bored, and then they just do things. But, you know, he's operating from a sense of fear, and I am picking up that he's kind of stubborn. Did they say how long he's going to be in jail, or is it just like a book and release thing? I do feel as if we have the Emperor in here, so there might be some consequences for him here. But look, we have the Hierophant. There's a little bit of stubbornness in here. So it might be smart for him to learn his lesson. You know, right now I don't think he's listening, which might be a little difficult. I do pick up that you're afraid for him or worried. You have the Fear card. I don't know. I'm picking up emotional intelligence with that, and that he's stubborn and a little bit selfish. We've got a Knight of Swords, which means that he makes impulsive decisions, so it's just impulse control. I'm not convinced he's going to go to jail, though. I think he's going to have some work to do and some consequences, but I'm not saying jail. You know, and he might even be out earlier than Wednesday. Just, I don't know. Addie, do you think we could see if there's anything exciting coming up for me in regards to spiritual awakening, better quality of life? I'm really feeling inspired. Yes! Listen, come take my meditation class. You will love it. It's a 12-week deep dive, and you will have an amazing resource book when you're done. But anyways, let's take a look for you, Addie. Surprised we don't have any bots this time. Hello, come and meet me for some spells. It's probably going to pop up, or maybe it's about to. I'm hearing it. Ooh, you got the Wheel of Fortune for timing, the Six of Cups for nostalgia, the Strength card for healing and health. I'm seeing the Chariot card for travel and movement. I'm also seeing like a giving back. Are you, Addie, are you very careful in how you're setting boundaries nowadays in your choices? I'm also picking up support in all kinds of places for you right now. One of the obstacles that I see coming up for you has to do with communication. Are you struggling with communication or worrying how to speak to what it is you want? And are you going into something medical? Oh, hold on. Yeah, and I think this is just, so listen, we'll go right into the meditation thing. So work on your solar plexus. Once you work on your root and your solar plexus and start understanding what it is that you have going on, and what it is that you want, but you've got these boundaries up, you're trying to avoid conflict with others, and I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of positive energy in here, so don't listen to me or like fixate on it, but I feel like, I don't know if you had struggled with depression, or you had almost given up, because you have this Five of Pentacles that has to do with like church, and how you like, I don't believe it, like for a minute there, you were like considering quitting all of this stuff, but that's way in the back end of your reading. So you have the Strength card, and usually that references something along the lines of medical, or you know, that you're on the last little bit of getting things done. You've got the Wheel of Fortune. That tells us that you are right where you're supposed to be. And then the Lover's card too, which tells us that you're mending something having to do with conflict, and you're reintegrating quite a lot of things. I know that's a little bit more than just spiritual awakening, but you have a lot of support. And then there is this Page of Pentacles that comes in. Was there a retreat that you wanted to go to and you didn't get to? I'm aware. I'm going to flow through here and pull from these in a second, but I want to give her all this attention really quick. So, Addie, I don't like to do just one card. If I get you, I'm going to do a reading. So, Addie, were you wanting to invest, go to a retreat, or spend some money on a training, or miss one that you didn't get to complete? I just feel like, don't feel as if you're missing out. Hold on. I swear it might not be on this notebook. I'm going to show you whatever. Nope. It's over there. I'll grab it in a second and show you when we're done. But I have a notebook from today's podcast that I was listening to. That is so funny. The cards don't say retreat in them. But there was a card here in Page of Pentacles that has to do with an impulse buy, or something that you wanted to do that you weren't able to do because you had the Four of Pentacles for feeling cheated or left out. Now, it's just written down in meditation today after a podcast that I was listening to, FOMO. and just slow down. Like, you're not going to miss anything. Your ascension will unfold as you need it to. And, you know, your higher self, if you feel as if your messages from your higher self or your messages from spirit sound familiar, it's because it's filtered through your higher self, your own voice. So the messages are deeply personal. And so, you know, allow the excitement of these things and that you want to participate in to excite you. Go where led, and let yourself change lanes as much as possible. That's what I did. And it's not that I finally found the thing, but each one thing that I studied on the journey, on the path. Like, for example, behind me, I've got all these singing bowls. If I hadn't got the singing bowls last summer, one at a time, for whatever itchy witchy twitch reason I was having at the time, I wouldn't have a full set, which is now integral to my Master of Sacred Sound practitionership, and where I am actually utilizing the singing bowls. But if I'd skipped a step, I would have missed it. So go where led. You aren't missing anything. Have fun. Get excited. You're going to love it. Reach out to me if you ever feel like you want to go to a retreat or you're having a hard time picking one, because here's what's true. The language should be clear enough for you to pick it. It shouldn't be just like, it's going to be a great time because everything and wonderful and spiritual and there should be some meat and details for you. You know, we're going to, like, I'll use my meditation class, for example. We're going to go over proprioception, understand the chakras. Be careful, because sometimes out there, these retreats have a tendency to be fun too. Like, don't be afraid to ask a lot of questions when you're spending that amount of money. I hear you, Discord. Let me finish my conversation first. Okay, how's that, Addie? If you want a more in-depth reading, reach out to me, Karma on Deck. I felt like I felt some thunder lightning. Let's go up here and check who's next. So Alicia, Addie, Dre. So you just post your question in the comments or the subject matter, and we'll pull some cards on it. If you spam my post, I'll skip it. There you go, Shelby. We'll go Shelby and then Dre. Okay, so Shelby was up there. Yes, okay, so both of you post your question for reading in the comments, and I will grab it. Subject matter like love, or if you want me to just do a general spread, go for it. Hi! Relationship and love. Okay, Dre. Like, in what respect? If you get more out of the reading if you can be specific. Besides, like, in general, whether you're ever going to have children, it works better when you have a little energy on that. Love with Pauline. So do we want to know over reconciliation, if it's going to go anywhere? Okay, very good. Okay, good. Thank you, Shelby. And then Kara. Oh, now I need to get my pen. Took you guys long enough. I've been live on TikTok more than anything, so YouTube and TikTok are going to be the places where I'm going to be getting this done. So Dre, Shelby, Kara. Theme of the day. Let me just tell you that right now. Here's the thing. So were you guys married, Dre? Or was there court involved between the two of you? We have the justice card for somebody being judgmental, or there being court or paperwork involved. No? Okay, so here's what I have to, regardless, it was just that card has a tendency to pop up to tell us that somebody's being judgmental too, or that there's a breaking of a contract that's going on within this information. But I would tell you this, it's not a yes and it's not a no. I have two separate cards for indecision. So unfortunately, at least it's still an answer, 50-50. So it's not a no. I will say though that communication is strained. We've got the Knight of Swords, which means somebody can be a smart mouth, or it brings out the worst in you and everybody can get snappy. And then I'm seeing that attention, like either one of you needs attention or needs some support there. And then I'm also seeing that, again, like I said earlier, depression is theme of the day. The melancholy, like moods or emotional intelligence is really difficult. And I think that you're dealing with some unhealed parts of her that does some decision making for them. Okay, hopefully that helps you. Shelby, she wants to know, you feel trapped. In what way? Are we talking about work or in general? Is this a theme? Thank you for trusting me. This is the most people that have engaged in me in a week. I've been on here, nobody says anything. It's a 50-50 shot, like maybe. Okay, general. Thank you for paying attention. So, Shelby, let me ask you this. Is there and okay, now mind you, when I say this, you're very welcome. I don't mean lack of money or hard times, although that may be the case. But what I'm seeing is Page of Coins and stress. There's almost this Page of Coins has to do with new beginnings and overwhelm. Like you're not sure. There, she just said it. She said, career focus is I'm a bit confused as to where I'm going. So look here. Page of Coins, that would be a lane change, a new beginning. And then we have the Eight of Swords. If you notice on this card, there's blindfold, which means that there's overwhelm. And you just said confused. If you see that there's swords, I'll show you guys in a second. There are these swords on either side and blindfold on the character here. And this means that he's just like, I can't see what direction to go. I would also say that there is a little decision-making fatigue or overwhelm. Do you have anxiety in general? There's anxiety here. I just want to point out that anxiety has to do with fear. So if you're afraid of the future, it'll show up in our body unprocessed as resistance. So what is it you're resistant to? I also get the Judgment card. So you're really hard on yourself right now. There's also a question in here about going back to school. One of my recommendations when you're having a difficult time... Oh, sorry. General reading, sorry. Anyways, but I am seeing, regardless, the reading is about like this 10 of Wands for anxiety. Do you have any anxiety right now? And I'm also picking up... There you go. Okay, so anxiety is a root chakra issue. So one of the recommendations that I say as a practitioner is to work on the root chakra. That means if you have to get a massage, if you have to take hot baths are easy and cheap, throw some salt in there because that's our energetic neutralizer and we can let things go. But when we have anxiety, that's resistance and that's fear. And so we soothe the fear as best as possible. We soothe, and one of the things that I like to say is choice. Start saying no to other things so that we don't feel resentful as a whole. And it seems to be like it's thematic or piled on. So when we begin to set our boundaries and say no, that we don't feel so forced upon in doing things. And then when the other big things that come up that are hard don't feel so hard. But I do see the Judgment. I see the High Priestess, which tells me, Shelby, that you have... You're like an activated empath, so your body is processing thoughts, feelings, and emotions all over the place. I also see a question about you going back to school. So there's might even be some decision-making fatigue in here. There's a little bit of Queen of Swords of wanting to walk away, and I feel like you're very self-critical right now. You've got the Temperance card, and you're in the mirror. Listen, I just want to say this to the collective. I need to open this window, it's getting hot in here. So I want to say this to the collective. When you are confused, it is definitely not a time to move forward. That means you don't have enough information. So when you're confused, it means I need more information. So don't move forward on a maybe. Remember, stop making your maybes yeses. So all your yeses are like this, yes. And if it's like, do you want to go to that? No. You want to go to that? I don't know. No. So they're your yeses and your nos, okay? Move with those. All right, so we have Caitlin on here right after Kara. Thank you for trusting me. For those of you that want a reading or if you want more expansion on the ones I gave you, reach out, karmaondeck.com. Just click on the meditation class and look at it. Let me know if you want to play. Romantic connection recently ended, looking to see if you can give me some clarity. Well, I'd be delighted to give you some clarity. Are you still there with me, Caitlin? You're very welcome. I know there's not like donations. We don't play that game, but you can share for me. Share. If you hear somebody talking about a psychic or a healer, just be like, go to my girl Karma. That's how you can help me. That's all I ask. That's why you don't see me on Patreon. I don't like gimmicks. And how are you going to trust me if I do the carrot and bait thing? I'm going to tell you this reading's about to be amazing, but you got to come to Patreon and pay me. I don't know. Do you guys do that? I can't. I think it's rude. I'm going to do a reading. It's going to be a gift, not bait. There's already enough hacks out there as it is, as readers, that embarrass me and make me a little bit like mortified at the industry in general. Like one more damn person calls me that with the soulmate, so-and-so's my soulmate, and they're coming back, and they said that. Shh, I'll stop it. Because they're just afraid to say what they really see. 5 bits for a reading. I kind of love that. Okay, here we go, Caitlin. So was this individual of yours, random question, Caitlin, does this person that you were dealing with have work nights? And do you have insomnia? I'm also seeing that there was a lot of chemistry with this individual. And I also pick up that there might be a little social media stalking that's going on. And I don't know which direction that is, but one or the other is watching the other. There might be a reconciliation on this, but I do feel as this person has a little bit of a stubborn streak when it comes to being a little stubborn. We've got the King of Swords, like what I say goes kind of thing, or they just like to hold on to power a little bit, like be stubborn. So there's a lot of stubborn that's going on. And there's this 3 of Pentacles. See, this is my social media card, and it just came up because I just pulled it. Next time I come on here, you guys, I'm going to do the picture-in-picture so you can see the layout when I do it. But we have the Narcissist card, so they might be having some narcissistic tendencies, Caitlin. We have the 3 of Pentacles for social media. Now, there might even be an argument about social media or some content that's gone up or over discussion. And then I have the 3 of Wands for watching. So there's some quality in here about watching one another. And then I would also like to suggest that we have some impulsive behavior with this individual that tells us that, you know, the emotional intelligence isn't a match for you two, and so they can behave a little bit immature, and they can kind of sometimes be reactive versus responsive. Are you asking if there's a reconciliation, clarity on what their mental state is like? You know, I don't know about reconciliation, but I can tell you that this individual is stubborn and that they're going to hold the line for a little bit longer, if that's helpful. I don't understand your question, Greta. I don't know what kings means. Greta said, was the king's work for me successful, and when will I know? Number 1, karma doesn't do whens. I don't do predictive readings. Qualitative is more along the lines of what I play with. The quality and the tone and the motivation behind things. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Appreciate your trust. Yeah, so anyways, I don't do predictions. I can tell you the direction things seem to go, whether it's a yes or a no, whether it'll be frustrating or delayed. However, I'm not going to tell you by Tuesday of next week. There's no guarantees here. You're very welcome, Shay. Very nice to meet you. Thanks for hanging out with me. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. This was the beginning of a commitment that I have to come back and play with you guys. I most definitely have a lot to share and teach and go over. There will be a lot of new videos coming out for the classes that I'm teaching, where I will be giving you little tidbits of some, you know, even if you're not taking my meditation class, there will be chakra videos, there will be meditation videos. That's right, we're in a new era, Shay. We're about to get it. And so there will be a lot of new content that's coming out. I will be doing drum making workshops, and so some of that will be, I'll be doing some videography of making the drums. I'll be talking about the medicine of the drums, and I'll be talking about meditation and what we're doing with, you know, some skill sets. And I'm really excited and having a super good time. So I want to thank you for hanging out with me. And for a reading or to sign up for one of the classes or get some more information, jump on karmaondeck.com. If you are a TikToker, Karma on Deck, that would be me, Shay. So Karma on Deck on YouTube and Karma on Deck on, there is a hack out there. I don't have any underscores and shit. There's some lady that took all of my social stuff. How was I to know? Because I'm a tech-tarded individual anyways, but I did not know that when you signed up for your TikTok, there was a button that people could push and download your video. So somebody created another one of me. I've got stories on there. So you can see me at what I'm doing today. But just find me, and all of my socials are karmaondeck.com as well as the website. But yeah, look for it. We'll be doing some more lives. We'll be doing some practice stuff, and I'll be showing off some of the fun toys that I have. Adonai, my beloveds. I will catch you on the flip